The Keylab Essential is pure value. Freebeat. Hey, how's it going, everybody? Welcome to Freebeat, where I post new music-related content every single day, so if that sounds good to you, hit that subscribe button, ring that notification bell. Today's patron shoutout goes to 2220, 2220, maybe? You get the idea. Thank you so very much for the support. Let's get started. So I have had my Arturia Keylab Essential 61 here for just over 9 months. Arturia was actually kind enough to send me this unit at the beginning of the year. It kind of helped kick off this new studio space, because that's when my girlfriend and I moved into this 2-bedroom apartment, and Freebeat got its own room. Now, I just want to clarify this real quick. Well, Arturia did send this to me for no charge, at no charge, back in December. I already made the video and fulfilled my end of the agreement between the two of us. No money was exchanged. It's not sponsored or anything like that. I made my unboxing and my overview video, and I looked at the Analog Lab software and everything. I have just begun to feel so strongly about this product that I wanted to revisit it 9 months later and make another video. So the Keylab Essential 61 is a MIDI controller, right? This is a 61 key version. They also make a 49 key version. For the most part, they are just interchangeable. You're just, adding an octave with the 61 key version. They've got pads on them as well. They've got faders and knobs. They've got displays, transport controls for your DAW, this nice clickable wheel for navigating Analog Lab, which we'll get to in just a minute. They hook up to the computer via USB, but they also have a 5-pin out, so it can be used to easily control 5-pin MIDI-compatible hardware as well. The overall build is pretty solid, I'd say. It's not anything amazing, but I'd probably give it like a B or so. Right around 84 to 86%. It's solid. It gets the job done. The keys are not weighted or semi-weighted, and they do not have aftertouch, but they are velocity sensitive, which is nice. But honestly, at this price point, which we'll get to next, I'm not expecting weighted keys or aftertouch for a controller like this. Also, we do have pitch and mod wheels up here. The next two categories, pricing and included software, are where this thing starts to shine, though, for real. So the price for the 49 key version is about $210 US, and the price for the 61 key version is right around $270 US. Right out of the gate, that makes this a pretty attractive option just as a MIDI controller that can work with both the computer and hardware via 5-pin MIDI. You know, like I said, you got the pads, the faders. On something like the MPC or the Deluge, everything is mappable. So you can really have a performance beast on your hands without even looking at the software. But of course, ignoring the software that the Keylab Essentials come with would be doing them a great injustice, because these are packing some incredible value. So the first piece of software you get is the UV workstation, and I believe the actual plugin you get for that workstation, I think that's how it works, or the lingo, I'm kind of new to that still, is the Model D, and it is a grand piano VST, as you can see here. It sounds terrific. Let's stop that before we get a copyright, although with my piano playing, I am not a pianist, by the way. That's probably an unrecognizable song. But yeah, it sounds great. That's the basic dry preset. We also have effects and things like that. And it runs standalone, which is really, really cool. However, it also works as a VST plugin in your favorite DAW. Now, if you don't have a DAW, not to worry, because the Keylab Essential series also come with Ableton Live Lite. And even if it comes with Ableton Live 10 Lite, you can upgrade for free to 11 Lite, which I recommend doing. I ran Ableton Live Lite for 3 years before finally, just last week, upgrading to Ableton Live Standard. You get a ton of functionality. You have 8 tracks, which is plenty to work with. Like I said, you can use that Model D piano workstation in this software as a plugin. There it is right there. We just load in the grand piano, load in the basic dry one here, arm the track. And there we go. Now you can run it with all of your other plugins and all the effects that come with Ableton Live Lite, which even though it's the Lite version, you do have quite a few effects in here. Now the third piece of software that you get is Arturia's Analog Lab 5, and this software is insane. It is a collection of a bunch of the most famous synthesizers throughout history and faithful recreations of some of the most famous sounds from those synthesizers. Then, as you can see down here, you actually have some parameters that you can adjust on the Keylab Essential with the faders and the knobs for those presets. So I'm going to click right here under Instruments. I'm going to go to Show All. Here are all of the synthesizers that we have faithful digital recreations of. So you can see there are quite a few. We could also search by type of sounds that we want. As you can see, bass, keys, lead, pad, and they all have subcategories as well. If you're wondering, well, okay, that's cool, but how many sounds is that actually? Here's the number, 6,805 presets. Let's go to lead. There's so many. I mean, these are all the lead presets here. Let's go to Hyperfrog, see what that sounds like. I'm going to bring the keyboard view back and the controls view back so you can see what I'm doing. I'm just playing live on the keyboard right now. Yeah, sounds great. Now, of course, these are all just presets, and these are the only parameters we have access to, but with over 6,800 presets, you're almost guaranteed to find the sound that you are looking for, which is just phenomenal. I could get lost in this for days. You even have some cool ambient stuff in there, ambient sound effects section. Some of these have arpeggios in them. And yes, those arpeggios will sync to your tempo in Ableton. So as you can see, just between the controller, Ableton Live Lite, and those other two pieces of software, you have a lifetime of learning and exploration in front of you. Also, adding to that value, by getting Ableton Live Lite, that actually enables you, when you want to upgrade to Standard, to purchase a direct upgrade to Standard from Lite, which I believe almost knocks $100 off the price of Ableton Live Standard. So that's super, super cool. So effectively, the keyboard also comes with basically a $100 discount from Ableton Live Standard, and that goes really for any piece of gear that comes with Ableton Live Lite. Just something to note. So as you can see, we're back on the desktop here, and that's because I just want to show you that Analog Lab 5 can also be run standalone. You don't have to be within Ableton. So both the Model D piano software and the Analog Lab 5 software can be ran standalone. As we switch back to the main camera view here, I just want to say what an incredible thing I think that is for beginners or anyone who does not want to be overwhelmed by looking at Ableton, because it is a very overwhelming looking interface. So to just be able to launch either the Model D software and play piano for a beginner, or to come into Analog Lab 5 and do the same thing, launch a basic preset and just learn how to actually play the keys, just kind of feel things out, is just a remarkably handy and I think impactful thing to have on any newcomer to the world of not only electronic music, but music in general. So yeah, in summary, the Arturia Keylab Essential series is pure value in my opinion. Not only do you get a pretty decent MIDI controller that has transport controls for a DAW. I didn't even mention this, but when it comes to Analog Lab 5, you can actually use the keyboard to navigate basically the entire interface, which works out really, really well. You don't have to be on the computer that much. You can be on the screen on the Keylab Essential itself. which keeps you more engaged in actually playing. You get the Analog Lab software, of course, which is a phenomenal value by itself. You get the Model D Grand Piano VST, which sounds terrific and will be more than adequate for anyone looking to learn piano. And then, of course, you get Ableton Live Lite, which is not unique to these keyboards at all, but it is nice to have included, and it can act as a almost $100 discount to Ableton Live Standard should you fall in love with the software and wish to upgrade, such as I did. I'm going to conclude this video by once again giving a thank you to Arturia, not necessarily for sending this out, obviously thank you to them for that, but for making such a great package. I really do think that this is a fantastic way to get into electronic music, and I think if you're just looking for a ton of sounds and you need a larger MIDI controller, either 49 or 61 keys, you're not going to go wrong with the Keylab Essential series. I do hope you found this video informative or at least entertaining. If you did, be sure to leave a like on it. If not, you can always leave a dislike. That's okay too. Doesn't hurt my feelings, just makes me try that much harder next time. Either way, be sure to hit that subscribe button, ring that notification bell. Thank you all so very much for being here. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. Bye.